Alicia Ferguson, I'm wondering, where are the collective heads of the Matildas tonight, and for that matter, yours? Are you still somewhere on the high from Saturday night, or pretty focused on what lies ahead on Wednesday?
I think I'm definitely still on the high from the other night, but I think the players, what I've come to find, and it's been a privilege being in camp with these players, is that they've had a really calm and confident focus, and they got straight. Tony had a chat to them after the match and before we came to Sydney, and it was just about resetting. That game's over, and now we need to focus on to Wednesday, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're preparing, they're focusing on their recovery. It's a reasonably short turnaround after 120 minutes of football, physically and emotionally. But the players, you know, great to be in Sydney. We've got beautiful views of the harbour, and it's all looking ahead to Wednesday night.
Well, you're a former Matilda. You played in the 2007 World Cup in China, and your generation had to juggle work commitments with elite sports training. Perhaps you could talk us through some of the differences in the conditions under which this current team is playing and the ones you faced.
I think the biggest difference is these players are fully professional. They are in training environments, high-performance training environments, where the everyday training environment is against international players and at international standard. So the majority of our players do play over in Europe, and every single day they're at a high intensity. So the fatigue factor, the recovery, the facilities, the support services is the biggest difference. And also they're getting compensated and paid appropriately to be professional athletes. And I think you can see that in the product. And it's fantastic to see. And we're kind of at probably just within a 10-year cycle of them being full-time, fully professional. And this is the outcome, which I think is pretty exceptional.
Well, as you say, you've got the professional structure, but also and the organisational structure. And someone observed to me that there's this almost subterranean organisational structure run by women, including yourself, behind the team, which stretches to things like having someone whose job it is to make sure that family and friends are looked after. Is that part of the explanation for that sense that the team is very calm and grounded?
Absolutely. It really is a family environment. This team have actually also been together for a long time. You've got the likes of Sam Kerr, Emily Van Egmond, Caitlin Ford, who have been through 4 World Cups. These players have known each other since they were 15 or 16-year-old. And now they've got in some of the younger players, the Kyra Cooney-Crosses, Charlie Grants. And the mix is at a really well-balanced place. And I say this, I can see everyone knows their roles and responsibilities in the team. And Tony uses the circle analogy a lot, Tony Gustafsson, our head coach, where we look inwardly and everyone protects each other and we keep it inside the circle. And I think they've been very, very good at deflecting the outside and the white noise, as positive and as energetic and as amazing as it is. But to maintain that calmness and that confidence, it's been important for this group of players to just maintain that inward outlook.
Well, for the rest of us, it feels like this is this generation's sporting moment. I mean, it was the America's Cup, Cathy Freeman at the Sydney Olympics. How do you explain that Matilda effect? Has this squad changed the way Australia sees football?
They have, haven't they? I mean, I feel it. I was lucky enough to play in the 2000 Olympics, and what was so exciting for me was understanding how important it is and how special it is for these players to play in front of family and friends and in front of a home crowd. You know, they spend so much time away from their family, their friends, they miss weddings, they miss birthdays. And having been involved as an athlete at the Sydney 2000 Olympics, being there on that momentous occasion when Cathy won that race and seeing what this team is now doing, captivating a nation and having an opportunity, already breaking records with viewerships, with fans at stadiums, and now getting to a semi-final of a World Cup. For, you know, we say we always overachieve in sport, don't we, as Aussies? You know, when we're comparing our population to the rest of the sporting, particularly in the football world, we're doing a great job. And it's just amazing to see how wonderful role models these players are. This isn't just about the young girls anymore. This is about everyone. The demographic of fans at these games is so diverse, and I think that's an extraordinary legacy of this tournament.
Well, a lot of our women's players think of Hayley Raso or Sam Kerr, do play for major clubs overseas. Is the lure of those foreign contracts a problem in building that solid Australian football scene here?
No, I don't think so. I just think we need to continue encouraging our domestic league to understand that for us to be internationally competitive at that level, that's going to have to be the case. But our development structures and our grassroots structures can all now build towards preparing these athletes to become professional footballers, whether that's in Australia or whether that's internationally. But we need to make sure that we give them the support, the resources, the infrastructure, the facilities as well. We're talking about, you know, even female-specific facilities for the women's side of it, so we can keep those players participating and then going on to hopefully representing the Matildas.
Well, a remarkable character in this World Cup has been Coach Gustafsson. At the start of the tournament, critics were calling for him to be sacked. What is he like in real life, and how would you describe his coaching style?
Sport's a fickle world, isn't it? Sport's a fickle world. One day they want you to be sacked, next day you're on top of the world. Look, I think Tony is such an experienced winner. He is a winner, and what he also identified when he came into this team in this tenure, areas where we needed to improve on the international stage. A couple of those areas was simple things like having more pace in wide areas. The women's game now, you look at the wide areas, the wingers or the fullbacks, and there has to be a lot of pace in those areas, and also improving the depth of this squad as well, and integrating the younger players in with the older players. And I say that, I feel like we've got a very good balance within this team of the older experienced players. And I say the younger experienced players because most of them are already, you know, making their way in the world as professional athletes. And it's just a very good balance. I say, for example, you've got Kyra Cooney-Cross and Katrina Gorry in the midfield. Now, two players, one very experienced player in Katrina and one up-and-coming player in Kyra. And just seeing how they balance each other out for this team is a really special relationship that they have. And I think we've got that across the whole team.
Well, all the armchair experts will be in full flight on Wednesday night, and thank you so much for talking to us in the meantime.
Thanks, Laura, and thanks everyone for their support out there. Let's go Matildas.